want to talk a little bit about imposter syndrome because I've had experiences. I've spoken in public. I've always felt really, really comfortable. But I think there's something about the medium of videoing yourself, social media, and the fact that it's my age group. I'm a little bit technically challenged as well. And I'm really struggling with imposter syndrome. People say, and I wish there was a better word for it, but as I get closer to being in that place where I'm going to do the coaching, this weekend I've just really doubted myself, and there's so much resistance and there's so much blocks. And so I just want to put it out to all of you. When you come across this, how do you get over it? What do you do?
Explain a little bit of these feelings.
I find myself delaying. Okay? Oh, it's got to be perfect. Oh, the website isn't looking that great. Oh, I haven't practiced enough. Like, I'm not comfortable on social media, and let me just work on it a little bit. And then I don't. And then I find myself doing other things, and my guilty pleasure is Hallmark Christmas movies. So, yes, I'm going to admit to it. I'll watch those because they make me feel really good. I know what's going to happen. No surprises, happy ending. It's all lovey-dovey. And I'll just leave it. I'll say, I'll do it later. And then I end up not doing it.
What do you mean by creating this perfect website or perfect anything for you?
I know we talk about progress over perfection all the time. Let's just get it done. But I'll see something that needs to change, or I'll see something that needs to be fixed. And while I'm doing that, I'm not really putting myself out there, promoting myself, because I'm like, somebody's going to see it and they're going to see that it's crappy or it's not, good. And I don't want anyone to come on there while it's in the phase of being ready. If I could, I would put that, under construction thing on it for a really long time.
I heard a comment and it helped me because honestly, there's not one thing on social media that I've posted that I like or that I've been happy with. I have had to just bite the bullet and do it. But I heard someone talking about that, about podcast and social media promotion and all of that. And they said, when you are 80%, you feel like you're 80% ready with it, put it out there. You can always change it. You can always tweak it, but you have to take the step and just do it. I heard that just today. So, Debbie, I'm so super proud of you because you're consistent and you've got great content. And you are not comfortable with it either. I think you're probably getting more comfortable with it. Tadao is really good about it. For Zana, you and I need to be accountability partners in this because I don't feel comfortable with it either. The whole time I was at my daughter, she kept saying, "Mom, you've got to do a reel today. You've got to do this." And I was like, "About what?" Like, I have nothing to say, but I feel like that I can't just go on there with my hair in a ponytail and no makeup on because, first of all, that's would give me a stroke. It's totally totally out of my comfort zone. I don't even do that at home, so much less on social media. So I totally understand.
And I think it's really funny because people that you don't know, I think you're a lot more easier with them because I think they can take it or leave it. But I think family and friends, it's a lot more difficult because their opinion, even though we say, I say, I really don't care what anyone thinks, there's a piece of me that does care what people think, right? And especially your loved ones. So there's always that desire to do something that they look at and say, oh, wow, that's amazing, right? But if you say something that they're like, I can't believe you said that, right? or you inadvertently express something which somebody takes the wrong way. I think I'm a little bit worried about that as well. So I'm trying not to care, but I'm human and I have to admit that there is a piece of me that does care. So I think I'm battling with myself a lot.
I think that's something that everybody deals with. To what degree they're willing to accept that or admit that, I don't know. But one thing I do know, especially about this podcast, is I know that I am sitting with 3 other people that have the purest hearts and
Oh,
really do want to do people the world good. Like we really, really want in our hearts to help people and to share some of our experiences. Are they crazy experiences? Some are, some are painful, some are so, so
Mm.
painful. But we're willing to be raw and
right,
tell people, you know what? I hope this helps you. And if it doesn't, I hope and pray that you find what you need that will help you.
right.
But whatever you have to say about me, that is on you. That is your perception because I am being just as real and transparent and authentic as I possibly can. And that's one of the things that Michelle Obama talked about was authenticity. And she said, you can be authentic and still hurt people's feelings and still make
Mm.
people angry and still have haters. So just the fact that we're being authentic is not going to change the worldview
Yeah,
of us. But us knowing in our hearts and souls that we're here for the greater good.
right,
And it's
right.
going to help some people and it's not going to help some people. And I know you've heard all these things before, but these are things I have to tell myself, Rosanna, on a daily because it's hard. It's I'm not 20 years old jumping out here making all these wonderful videos about hair and makeup and looking like I just stepped out of a, factory that I've just been made. I've got stuff I got to worry about. Like I might need a little duct tape here or whatever, like seriously, the
You look
struggle
fabulous,
is so
Victoria.
real.
I guess like if I was younger, I most probably wouldn't think about it. And I don't want age to be the factor. I want to be able to come on screen without my makeup and say what I'm feeling and not worry about the bags under my eyes and the lines and everything. But that there's that ego piece of it that does see the lines, and the spots and everything. But it just hit me. I have to be comfortable with that myself, right?
That's exactly right.
So I have to be comfortable with it. And I guess I think yeah, you know what it is? I don't want to swear, but it's like at one point I was like, just F it and do it, right? But, just do it. And then I did a bit and then I was like, I really don't like that. That's not, I wasn't happy with it. But I think the most important thing is I keep reminding myself it's not what's here, it's what's in here and what comes out of here, right? That's the most important thing. It's not like we say, it's not the messenger, it's the message. And I have to keep reminding myself that it's what I say that counts. And if I can have, if, 50 people can hate it, but if there's that one person that
Absolutely.
it connects with, that resonates, it's good. I've done my job, right? So that's what I have to remind myself, I guess. But it doesn't, the nerves, it's just incredible when.
But I also know that there's never growth in comfort. You
Right,
will
Definitely.
never
right.
grow as a person if you're comfortable. And,
Yeah,
if you want to grow, get as uncomfortable. So I know we're growing in leaps and bounds because I am uncomfortable as Hades doing this, right? So I feel you. I see you. I understand it fully. I do. Just show yourself a little grace. It's about how we're comfortable, you know?
right.
And I guess I'm like Dolly Parton. I don't want to go to the mailbox if I don't look decent. And she says it takes a lot of
She's a
time and a
totally
lot of
different
money to
level.
look this cheap. But just to quote
Oh
her, I
my.
love her.
So,
But yeah, so just show yourself grace. So I've just sat there and just tried to be comfortable with the camera. It's not fun. It's out of my comfort zone. Debbie, how have you navigated the waters?
This is such a great topic because honestly, this whole journey for me in putting myself out there, not just on the reels or in this podcast, but in life coaching, in sitting in front of someone in what I thought was like this authority position, like I'm supposed to know everything, I'm supposed to have it all together, or I'm supposed to be so well spoken if I'm going to be filming myself, and what do I have to share with the world? All those things came up for me too, and constantly do. And I just can't say enough about how the reality keeps showing up in my experience, which is this is all for my growth. Everything I'm doing is actually growing me.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminds me that I need to sit as client to a coach, that I need coaching as much as I want to show up for others, that we can't write ourselves out of that equation of that this is a journey of my healing, of my growth. The fact that we're all sitting here on a podcast together, that's probably the reason I'm here, is that the three of you are with me. I wasn't ready to put my face out there either.
Right.
But there was something about community, and there's something about holding other people's hands and strengthening there's strength in numbers and the positive feedback of people that you trust. And I don't know, that general feeling of we're all in this together has really made me jump off that cliff with y'all. I'm saying y'all because of Victoria, like you're all rubbing off on me and giving me the courage. And I think that's how I got through the coaching certification course too, is that when I was scared to sit in front of a client and start coaching when I didn't think I knew what I was doing either. And just joining others that felt the same way, and everyone just encouraging us to just start. There's nothing to fear. This is the time. Just let it all happen. So to me, Farzana, what you're saying is so real in each one of us. And Victoria, as you're saying, as you're saying, all these things are going on inside of you. Your reels don't look like that. Your reels look beautiful and confident, and it reminds me that everybody looks at everybody else thinking, oh, they look so together. And really, I think the story is what you said. Really inside of all of us is that wondering if we're okay, if we're good enough, if we're going to be able to pull it all together. And I'm glad we're at least all doing it together, whether we're feeling confident or not. I think it's making it happen for me. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here today if I wasn't scrambling to get here, and without my makeup on either. Like, oh my gosh, I forgot to do the podcast today and coming late. And you guys are also encouraging, like that accountability is like huge to me.
So I wouldn't be here either if it wasn't the four of us together.
I wouldn't either. And especially, I have to give you kudos to Dow, because you run this ship like a business. If you didn't, do you know how hard it would be to get 3 women on the same schedule with you? Like, seriously, if this was just me doing my own, I would be like, it's Sunday. I don't want to do it today. But to Dow, you really make it happen. Like, you really do. Like, you do the editing and you get us all here at the same time and you hold us accountable, and we love you. So we don't want to disappoint you. And I don't want to disappoint any of y'all. I'll disappoint Victoria, but I will never disappoint y'all. If I ever say I'm going to do something, that's why I'm the most non-committal person in the world. People ask me about something and I'll say, oh, we'll see. And they know that's a straight up hard no for me. So, oh, we'll see. It's like, I want to be a people pleaser. I don't want to say no, but I know if I say we'll see, then I know I'm not. I won't be there. I won't show up for that person. But that's why I don't commit, is because I don't want to disappoint. But in the beginning of this thing, I think we were all nervous and scared, and now it's just like, oh, I get to be with my friends today. I get to meet with my friends and talk about our hearts and what's going on in our lives. And today when you were sick, we were mothering you up and wanting to make sure you were okay. And do you have soup? And are you using Vicks vapor rub, or all the things that we do? So
I really appreciate that.
the love I think that the four of us have, and all of us want to do this for the greater good. Yes, we're healing, Debbie. We are all healing in it. I think every single day I'm a different person because I've learned from you guys how to open my heart and how to let people in and not be so horrified of hurt and pain and, not fitting in or whatever the things are, the false beliefs and the limited beliefs that we believe.
Mm.
And I think vulnerability and transparency is something that is so rare in today's world. I think that we're all growing each other, and just feel free to reach out to any of us at any time and say, wow, I am really struggling with this. Would you watch it and see what you think? Because we're here for each other.
Mm.
I appreciate
Because last 1-2 weeks, I was feeling imposter syndrome as well. But, Debbie, you said we are not here to project more than who we are, and we need to remain authentic. You said that a few weeks ago, and that words keep repeating in my brain. And, since I started this podcast, I'm not good with the social media, but we have to do it if we want to get listeners. So, I've been trying to get more followers and everything, and I was forgetting the important part. We are not doing this to get more followers, or we are not doing this to be, those fabulous influencers. That's not what we are doing here, right? It's just a tool. Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, it's just a tool that we need to use to spread our message to more people. But last few weeks, I was all thinking about how we need to create the thumbnails, how to hook people with this message. I was thinking way too much, and I was being so anxious. Then I realized, wait, I'm not doing this to project more than who I am. I'm not here to say, my life is fabulous. I am a perfect human being. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to be authentic. That's what we're trying to do. And our authenticity has a lot of message that we need to spread to the world.
Every time we're done, I walk away with a nugget, just like to Dow saying, we're not here trying to be anything we're not, but you got that from Debbie, and then you just repeated it, and I might not have picked up on it in the moment she said it, but now it resonates with me. We're really not on here. I'm not professing to sing or saying that I can tap dance or anything like that. I'm just here to say, if I could talk to you at 20 years old, I would tell you what not to do. And I'm feeling it because I picked my kid up at daycare, and all the mothers at daycare look like they have it together. Their nails are done. They're driving a BMW, and here we are struggling. And that's what I see that so much in the younger people,
Right.
Oh, what does her husband do for a living? And they've got this or they have that. And it's all about comparison, which makes you freaking miserable, when you're really trying to compare yourself to another person. So we are individuals. We're authentic individuals. We are AI.
And of course, I wanted to, instead of focusing on what you have to do now, like creating a website or doing social media, I want you to always remember why you really want to be your life coach. What do you want to achieve as a life coach? Because that's more important than the creating social media or website, right? Because for me, my social media or my website, anything, I was not 100% sure. I am not 100% sure if I'm doing it right. And I made a lot of mistake with the social media, and I keep deleting and posting and like trying to do different things. It's way for like from being perfect, but I'm making action. So like I'm going somewhere. For
Right.
me, I'm more afraid of doing nothing,
Right.
even though it's just a baby step. Like maybe a year later or 2 years later, I could see myself that I studied something. So instead of living in my brain and not making any action, even though it's not perfect and even though it's just a tiny little step, we just gotta do it. Otherwise, you're gonna be at this exact same place where actually we don't want to be.
Right.
I love Mel Robbins, and we can hashtag her on this because we used her name. But
Victoria, that's so funny because like I was thinking of Mel Robbins because she said we don't have
Me
time to
too.
waste. We
so
don't have
I
any
watched.
time to waste.
She's amazing. But I watched her on a podcast, and she was like, "Quit sitting in the stands and get on the field."
Right.
Everybody wants to watch the ball game, and everybody wants to say the play was wrong or the ref is wrong. He's making a wrong call, and I'm ad-libbing, y'all. I'm not using her exact words, but basically is, why are you still in the stands? Get on the field. And so I feel like we've gotten in the field. We're on the field. We're playing the game. Victoria's running toward the wrong goal, but sometimes I get it screwed up. But I'm in the game. I'm doing the thing, right?
Yes.
And
Right.
I'm learning so much from you in that you're afraid of doing nothing, and I'm afraid of doing something.
Yeah.
So surely in between that, we can find balance.
Well, there's
That's
Debbie.
right.
In
Debbie.
between that, we have Debbie, right?
Debbie always
I'm
does
always the middle
right.
child.
You have your brain. I love the way
Yeah.
your brain works. I could sit and listen to you for hours and hours because, for example, you were walking the dog on your reel and you were like, why can't we do this? Why can't we just meander? I was in that moment feeling so rushed and strung out from being in the US and traveling so much and kids and just always on the go. I was just thinking, why can't we just chill? Like, really? And that hit home with me. And I know if it hit home with me, it hit home with so many other people, but it was just right on point for me.
And I think, Farzana, you're just so brave, because what I hear you saying is maybe this isn't the common thing in your family or your circle of friends, or this might be new and different. And when we enter a space that we're kind of like the pioneer of something, or we feel like no one else around me is really doing this, saying this, or coming to the same logic or the same deep experience that I'm finding right here, and you look around and there's no one walking with you. And I think that's sometimes how it feels, is like, when that spotlight feels like it's on us and like, what is everyone going to say? But it's that you're not alone. And it is finding those that are walking that same journey. And I think that's so much what coaching is about. You're such an open book, and you're so absolutely hysterical and cute in your delivery, and you're very candid and say it like it is and have this deep wisdom, but with this cute, fun, like, twist. You're like a big sister and someone's best friend. That's the feeling. You remind me of my best friend. She always makes me laugh, and she's the first one to like throw herself under the bus and just giggle about it. And her confidence in herself was always so much stronger than mine, but I tried to fake it and look like I had it all together. And I was really good at that game, but I was dying inside, or I really was insecure inside. And she would just not care what, she was saying or doing, or, she could throw her hair up in a ponytail and be like, oh, well, whatever. And I find that that's what's so endearing about you is you're very relatable. I think you're just very warm and relatable.
I appreciate that, Debbie, but some of it might come just from like laziness, right? just not wanting to bother. But Victoria said something, and it sort of stirred something in me about you running around and being so busy, and something hit in me, and I'm going to try not to get emotional, but I think I did that a lot when I was a caregiver, and I am going to get emotional. And I think part of it now for me is not being in that place again, not rushing, not feeling like my day wasn't my own. So, okay, here we go. Talk about just putting it all out there.
And that's okay.
I think part of the resistance from me is the control. And it just hit me when you said it, Victoria, and that's why it's so, what we have is really special. Because I don't think I would have got that before, right? And it just literally hit me. I think I'm afraid of losing control of my day, of my time.
And you know what? That is so real. And I was telling to Dow before you two got on here this morning about how I just feel like I'm not up to speed on technology and different things. And it's because when I retired, I was like, I never want to have an alarm clock. Because I was a financial planner. So I was at the beck and call of my clients 24/7. If somebody was worried about their money at 3:00 in the morning, I answered the phone. And plus I had a team of people that worked under me. So I was literally on the phone 24/7. It drives my friends crazy. But I have taken it too far. I have taken it too far. Like it has blocked me. My granddaughter's 15. I retired 15 years ago to help and take care of her. But in that, I literally hate the telephone, and I'm having to work on those things. I'm having to work on letting people back into my life again because I felt so pulled by so many different directions. I didn't have a minute that was my own. So that makes perfect sense, you know? And we have to realize, okay, I'm still in control of this, and I'll choose the time, but I will honor myself if I choose that I'm going to do something at 2:00. And I'm talking to me too, sister. So I'm going to start doing it, and you will, and let's do this. Let's hold each other accountable. If I say at 2:00, I'm going to create a reel for my social media every day at 2:00 or whatever, I'm going to honor myself in my word, because with that, I will begin to trust myself more. Because now I've learned not to trust myself as much because I'm a flake to myself. I'm like, we'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it another day. I don't feel like it. I'm not going to do it. And so I feel like a flake. So that will make you feel like an imposter too. Although I'm not a flake with other people. If I tell someone I'm going to do something, I do it. But getting me to commit is literally like putting pants on a greased pig. Like, I don't want to commit, you know? So I think that's beautiful that you unlocked the block.
It just hit me. And I love what you say, because I find that I'm not keeping the promises to myself as well. And I didn't understand that, because you said something, again, somebody called me up and they're doing their own business, and they asked me to proofread and look at and I spent all the time for them, but I wasn't doing the work for myself. And I stepped away from that. I was like, why is it that I'm doing it for them, but I won't do it for me? And I think I just sort of kind of unblocked some of the reasons, and we just had a therapy session here, right? So thank you.
What, though?
Thank you, team. I needed that for sure.
But here again is Mel Robbins. She does the high five every morning in the mirror. Sometimes I look at the mirror and I can't do a high 3 because I'm like, whoo, girl, sit down. But it really does help to give yourself that high five, because who do you high five in this world? People that are what? Winning, moving forward.
Yeah,
Yeah, people
when they've
that are
done a
moving
good
forward.
job. I
Yeah,
did
you
do that
don't
for a
high
while.
five. Yeah, I think together we're like a village. It takes a village to raise a child. And we are the village raising this podcast. This is our child, and we're all putting into it. But what a beautiful thing when we have breakthroughs.
Right.
You know, like Debbie, your reel was a breakthrough for me. Like, why can't we just slow our roll and enjoy life?
Mm.
You know? And Dow and I were talking earlier about people living with their earphones in all the time, even in restaurants. They're missing the sounds of life. They're missing the birds chirping, missing overhearing a conversation at a table. You know, they're missing a baby's first words. We're missing life because we're so busy. And that is one thing that I want to do this year is to not necessarily, I moved to Guatemala. I'm slow. I'm probably as slow as I'll ever be. But using that time wisely for me to make an impact on me, for me to grow, for me to trust me.
I was going to say, I thought I was the child that you were raising, but okay.
But I think it's
You'll have to raise
very, we are blessed that we have this community, right? Since I went to the J. Shetty, the school, I realized the community, like where you can just be yourself, it's very important. And that's where you grow the most. We are not here to, judge each other, but we support each other. So at least, Fazana, when you open social media account or anything, you got 3 likes.
That's right.
Bless you.
That's right. That's so
And
awesome.
Debbie, if you, I think last session you said like you are not feeling comfortable saying your idea aloud because that would hurt my feeling or something. But I appreciate that because we are being honest. And if there's anything like I could change to improve myself, I want to know. But in your life, people don't tell you anything. People don't teach you even though you're doing something wrong. But this community, because baseline, we know that we love each other and
Right.
we are not saying anything to hurt each other.
Right. It comes from a place of love, Tadao. That's what it is. Whatever we say to each other, we know it comes from a place of love. And I think what we learned here that really helped me, especially with the coaching, helped me to talk to other people in my life in a way that was non-judgmental. I've learned so much. And the way I speak to my sons as well, it's very different after having taken this course. So it's helped me in, and I thought I thought I was doing a really good job, but I realized, oh my God, there's ways that I talk to my son that kind of rubs him up the wrong way. Right. So now I have a different kind of conversation, and it really does change the way they respond to you, and they want to spend more time with you because you're not judging them and you're not telling them what to do. You're like, let's just have a conversation. And it's been beautiful. So
it is such a beautiful way. And Tadao, when you said that about like what I was talking about was just my opinion on, what was it? Something we were working on, our Facebook cover or whatever, or our podcast cover. And I found that to be like the life lesson and life hack is if we only ever just speak of what we love, what we're about, what thoughts and feelings we're having, that's all it is just me speaking for me. And it's not for anybody else really. You know what I mean? And it's just me expressing myself out into the world. And if something sticks, great, take it. If it doesn't, you don't have to. But it's part of learning how to communicate. I used to always, like you were saying for Zana too, like tell people, my children especially, my spouse, it's like, this is the best way and this is what you should do. And have you tried this? And all this advice that, we always are giving one another. I really have found that the best thing we can do is do a whole lot more listening. But also when I do speak, it's only from my own experience. And that's what this podcast really why it's so valuable, I think, is that we all just are representing the beautiful perfection of each one of us. And why can't we sit next to one another in this world in the same way that I'm not trying to outdo or compare, because there is no comparison. There isn't another person created exactly with my experiences and my entire story. Only me. So please don't compete with me, and there is no judgment needed except a celebration of that, or an acceptance of that would be my hope, of course. But also there can be rejection of that. But the more that I accept myself, that acceptance ripples out and it returns in acceptance. So it's like kind of, I think the two are always in balance. What we're putting out is coming back. And so as we grow, it's going to come over time. And we sometimes have those old tapes or old experiences bubble up in us and make us think that that's the result that's going to happen again. And if we hold on to it, that result will go back out and come back to us. So it's about recognizing it's an old thought or old pattern, an old response, and we can set it down and remember. Friends can help remind us, like we remind each other. When I'm speaking something and it sticks with one of you, it's because you're reminding yourself of that truth that you already know, right? We just forget. We're so forgetful of these things. So it helps to be in the present moment where all the information and all things are taken care of, and not let these old tapes come wrecking. It's like a wrecking ball of the past coming in to like take away from walking the dog and looking at the trees and wondering why we yank our dogs along on a walk when they just want to smell for 20 minutes at the same spot. It's like, where am I going? I thought I was here for Charlie to take a walk. Only I'm like, come on. I gotta go. We gotta get back to what? Whose schedule?
We gotta live this moment, ladies.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that is the beautiful thing, is we are sharing our life experiences, and we are unique and wonderfully made. We're one of a kind. Nobody else has our experience, even if they were in the same place at the same time, everybody perceives things differently. And I do love how we can just throw things out there and we all accept it, and we are making better friends and better people and better listeners. And I think the biggest takeaway from me has been the judgmental thing, for sure, for Zana, but also I guess I always expected people to put in to a friendship or a relationship or whatever as much as I did. And when you quit expecting that, you quit having all the disappointments. I just love you where you are. I'll be here for you where you are. I'll walk alongside you where you are. And I don't expect you to do anything differently. You're not a monkey. You don't do tricks, If you don't do flips, I'm okay with that. Don't do flips. But I used to hold people to such a high standard that I was like, why don't they get it? Why can't they just walk away from something, or why can't they just do something? And it's, first of all, none of my business what they do. And secondly, it just takes a lot of the angst out of me that I don't have expectations about anything with anybody anymore. And it also changes the way you speak to people, because you're like, there's no, well, why don't you do this? Or have you thought about that? Or, or why? I'm a big why person. My thing is always why. And it just, I love what I learned from that school. And Jay Shetty was just so chill about teaching us, how to let go of things and how to reflect. And I just remember there were nights on homework I would be like, I'm never going to get through with this. And I would even wake up like at 12:30 in the morning and start writing some more, because it opened a part of me that I had closed, that I thought was so broken and so shattered, that I was horrified for anybody to see that girl. that person. And I like her now. She's okay. She's cool.
I'm so glad you're letting us know you now. It's such a privilege.
I'm so glad.
The light in your eyes and your smile and your wisdom from so much deep life experience and unfortunately a lot of trauma, but fortunate in the sense that you get to use that wisdom to perhaps allow other people to enter into their own stuff that they need to take a look at. And you provide a hope that there's a way out by going through it. They say that's what it requires, is not to avoid it, but to go through it, looking in that mirror and saying it all out loud. And then you get to the other side and it's like, man, did I torture myself for how many years?
And it's so
putting
sad
that journey off.
Yeah, it is very sad. And I don't want anybody to do that. Like, live your life. It's short. And I know that God handpicked 3 people for me to be vulnerable and real and totally authentic in front of. And I'm so grateful for each of you.
Victoria, you speaking up about your experiences is going to encourage more people to speak up about their own experiences. The one thing I think everyone needs to know is they're not the only ones going through it, right? And you sharing that after all these years will stop someone from waiting that many years to share their story. And like we say, if we can help one person and it reaches and resonates with one person, then our job is done.
Awesome. This was like too beautiful today. Oh my gosh. Thank you for being so vulnerable, everyone. Oh my gosh.
And I'm sorry I cried.
I love it. What are you talking? That's humanity right there.
Yeah, I'm just going to warn you. It'll almost probably happen again.
That's what we love about you.
Yeah.
It just went in a direction that I honestly didn't even think it was going to go in. I'm really, just when I think I have it together, just shows you, like, life will come and hit you and tell you really don't know what you're doing or you don't know what you're talking about. I was just sitting there and I was like, and then when Victoria said that, like, all these feelings just like bubbled up in me and I was like, God damn it, that's the reason. And it never occurred to me before. I was making up all these other excuses. But now I know that's the reason, and I can go away, I can reflect, and thank you all so much. You might have just unblocked me, and I might just be like,
look out, world.
Look out, Reels. Here she comes.
Yeah, here she comes.
She's going to speak her mind.
Thank you for watching today's episode of Breakout. Hope you liked it. And if you liked it, please leave us a comment. And also subscribe us on YouTube as well. I'll see you soon.